Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Scale Smart podcast. I'm your host, Jacob, and also the founder of NetScale Growth. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Bartosz Czerwiński, the co-founder of Shaped Thoughts. Bartosz, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for the invite. Hey, everyone.
Pleasure to have you on. Now, Bartosz, tell me, and also can you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself, what your expertise are, and what you guys actually do at Shaped Thoughts?
Sure, of course. Once again, thanks for the invite. So when it comes to myself, I am one of the co-founders and engineering leader at Shaped Thoughts. And my career in IT industry started, I guess, 20 plus years ago. So I had a chance to walk through very different areas and also different roles in different companies, from like corporations to small startups. And that gave me really good opportunity to basically look at the industry from various perspectives and then, learn different things and incorporate that into the way we operate today as Shaped Thoughts. And when it comes to the company itself, when my co-founders and I started this journey, we had simple but very ambitious vision in mind, like to make insurance simple and accessible to all, right? So we wanted basically to change the way people interact with insurance. At the same time, make the delivery of the software that is necessary for that basically feel like a breeze. So basically empower our partners with the way they can actually make things happen by shaping the business and delivering what they need to do the business without focusing too much on the technology itself and polishing things or gold plating, as we know from the industry. So after years in trenches in different other domains, we discovered that basically most software companies, they just treat insurance like another domain. So basically they deliver software as they would be doing this everywhere else. So that's where ShapeTest was born. We decided to become a partner that truly understands the industry and the technology. So every member of our team is basically has it in its heart. That was the idea. And we became a remote first company that has at this time 96% of senior engineers of average like 13 plus years. And we really love building things and making things happen. And I like that basically clients stick around, so they like the way we work. So I guess that would be it.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. And it's been really insightful listening to that. I hope the audience really, really resonates with that story as well. And scaling up any business, Bartosz, whether you're in software development, whether you're in AI, whether you're in tech, whether you're in the sporting industry, every business has challenges and every business has hurdles that they have to overcome. So what would you say, Bartosz, were some of the biggest challenges you had when it come to growing the company? And actually, what would you say how different that is now in terms of how it's now in terms of the challenges?
Sure. So I guess one of the biggest challenges we faced, and I guess that's kind of common to every software business, is to gain trust, right? So you are a player among other players. Everyone tells you that they are great, they deliver value, they are a quality company that basically shapes the quality and bakes that quality into every process and line of code they do. But then you discover that things are not that simple. So the trust that we decided to kind of focus on was built upon transparency and telling how we see the things. And often when you jump into a business and see that it's not performing that well because of different reasons that we might be seeing differently than others, we still try to speak up. We still try to deliver, facts that show why our point of view is different and basically look together for a solution, right? So instead of being blind and focus on just, they ask us to do A, so we do A, and then just forget about anything else we see the way we move forward, we basically take a look, is that an optimal way, how we could optimize, how we could do it better differently? But first of all, do we need to do it at all? In a sense that I guess many CTOs were in a position where they found business is asking to deliver something that actually is not necessary, at least not everything, like every bit of the plan to make the business, right? So basically we keep our eyes open and we really aim at shipping value by transparently speaking the things we see as we move forward. And yeah, it's hard sometimes because, again, if the perspective you see is different than others' perspective, especially people within the company you are supposed to collaborate with, it's kind of tricky. But we really do believe that when you have the can-do attitude and openly speak and look for solutions are pragmatic and constructive, that really works.
In a crowded software development industry now, there's so many software development companies now. It's interesting seeing how many there is. What would you say makes Shaped Thoughts stand out when delivering these types of projects?
Yeah, it's a good question. How you differ from others. I suppose that one of the key aspects we really pay focus to is to, or put focus on, is basically to make sure our engineers have the expertise in the area they are deployed to, one, but secondly, they are product engineers. They are people who not only understand the business, but they can also act and take responsibility for what they do from A to Z. So if there's a problem to solve, they would not wait for a business analyst to give them specification of how to do the work, or at least what needs to be done, and then come up with a solution. They would rather jump into to understand the bits from the be able to basically specify what needs to be done, then show what's the optimal plan as we could define by as of now, and then move on with the delivery. So this kind of product engineer with the product mindset is really essential. It takes time to grow because you can't just take anyone from the market and then tell them you need to act this way. But actually, it takes time to equip them with the knowledge, with the tools, but also show how this mindset helps them take responsibility, and thanks to that, scale. Because if you have a couple of that engineers, right, or like a team of engineers of this kind, then basically they can work independently, but at the same time support each other and streamline the work by taking more on the business responsibility.
And I think that's really important what you just mentioned. And I think some of the companies who I speak to, they come on and their differentiator isn't, I wouldn't say it's a massive differentiator, which is going to make them stand out massively. But what you got there is really, really important. So as the industry develops, and I think a lot of people bring on these technical people and think they're the best team in the world because they can deliver really, really good technical skills. But how do you ensure that your team brings not just technical skills, but also domain expertise that add real client value?
Yeah, well, so when you do many projects where people, your engineers, are deployed to, they essentially kind of have the environment to learn. But before that, we actually have our own way of making sure people understand the domain by doing certain trainings, right? And also workshops just to learn them the domain the right way before they actually do the work. So everyone who is supposed to join one of the projects and do impact, or like to make impact, they have to go to the training to learn. And this is also working with other senior engineers by talking to them, having some sessions to draw some scenarios and talk about potential solutions and challenges that can be found in that domain. So there is a lot of collaboration and skills exchange, also experience exchange that we learned so far.
And moving over to AI now, Bartosz, I have to bring it up. I always like to bring it up in all of the podcasts, which I do.
Yeah,
And I think generative AI is kind of reshaping how software is built. So what impact are you seeing in the way projects are delivered today based on that?
Sure. Very, I would say, good question, but also the open question. So I would start from the fact that the traditional software engineer is over. So basically, companies who are not utilizing Gen AI in their workforce by giving engineers additional tools to do their work more efficiently, they are losing a lot. And not only because they are not faster and also have tools that help them deliver more value over time, this is also because their engineers are basically they're not getting smarter, right? So we cannot avoid AI in our lives. It's everywhere. It was here for years, for many years, but now we basically see a totally different approach of how people interact with not only computers when it comes to, looking for information or organizing information or basically asking computers to do things for them, to have like a concierge services that can basically capture huge amount of data over the internet to give you some insights. First of all, I would say it transforms the way we basically do work as engineers. So different tools, of course, from copilots we can imagine, but also to tools like integrated IDEs with basically built-in features for supporting Gen AI tools, but also to tools like Claude Code, or maybe basically agentic environments that actually can do coding for you, right? So like Google Jules. So basically there's a number of tools these days, and it's honestly quite hard to decide which one to choose, pick up to do the work within the team, and which one will actually make your team faster, better, and so on. And what I'm saying, we have to enter, like every company has to enter, technology company has to enter the path where they give access to that and help people learn to utilize tools, utilize this new way of doing things, and see how it can support them. There's also one more, I would say, caveat that makes junior engineers in a bad position. So, I guess 5 years ago or so, there was quite a big push to hire juniors so they can learn grow within the companies and learn new tools, craft, and basically ultimately become a big value for a company when they have independence, but also are independent and are able to operate as more mature engineers once they learn the domain and so on and tools. But basically, these days, a junior engineer is in a position where they cannot enter the same path they entered in the past. So it's hard for them to go to a path where they are accompanied by more senior engineers that are walking with them through the journey, since expectations have changed, right? And that's, I guess, a sad story where we don't have yet a good solution for how to grow great engineers that ultimately, equipped with the new tools, will be able to bring value. So yeah, maybe I basically went into different topics, but also want to highlight the fact that, yeah, we need to move forward. We need to make sure that we use the tools to improve the efficiency. But first of all, if you take a look at the software companies, the ultimate goal is to actually bring value to the business faster and without compromising quality. And of course, we could talk about a lot how not to compromise quality while using these tools, which actually, if not used properly, they can do a lot of harm. But that's a different story.
And to finish off now, Bartosz, to look at the goals that you've got for the company in terms of potentially expanding into different regions, growing the revenue to a certain state, what would you say are some of the goals you've got for Shape Force over the next 6 to 12 months or so?
Sure. So we are a boutique company. So our goal is not to grow into, a number of hundreds of engineers. We do focus on delivering value by having small but very focused and well-shaped teams that can jump into any business and make impact by bringing all the knowledge, all the value and expertise within a given domain.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, great to hear. And if people wanted to reach out to you, Bartosz, and find more information about what you guys do or maybe inquire, where's the best place for them to do that?
Sure, just jump onto my LinkedIn profile or basically shapedots.io website and you can find me there.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. It's been great hearing your story, and thank you for sharing your insights and expertise.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thank you.